All right. With that, I think we're live. Oh gosh, Kindle's initializing. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the this is Learn with Jason. Except I'm not Jason, as you probably might have noticed. My name is Ben Hong, and I'm happy to be here as the first guest host on Learn with Jason. And I'm super excited because today we have Matt with us. Matt, do you want to introduce yourself to everyone?
Good afternoon. Yeah, I'm Matt. I'm a senior front-end dev at Netlify, and I got an interest in automating workflows. So I live in Wales in the UK, so it's kind of evening for me over here. So it probably start seeing it getting dark as we get through. But yeah, that's
Sounds good. Well, so today we're here to talk about custom workflow automation with n8n, which we'll be talking all about. But before we get started, just want to thank Diane from White Coat Captioning, who's here today and making it all possible to have captioning on the show. A big thanks to our sponsors, Netlify, Fauna, Auth0, and Hasura for making that possible. So with that, I guess Matt, let's kick it off. Let me go ahead and switch over to my stream, the pair programming mode. All right, can you see my screen? We good?
I can see yours. Yeah.
All right, perfect. So, yeah, Matt, tell us a little bit about N8N and what it's all about.
Yes. So n8n is a node-based automation. So it kind of abstracts the kind of logic that you think of automation with being code and match visual elements. And you can drag and drop them, hook them up, and create kind of really cool but complex automated workflows using their interface. It can be self-hosted or using their own code. I think we're going to use their cloud, but there's a multitude of ways that you can do it yourself. Um, this is kind of like some of the other tools that are around, but this one is slightly more kind of low level. You can get low level anyway, so you can really get into the kind of more kind of uh, the logic from programming kind of side of things, which we'll kind of touch on today, which is really good.
Ah, that's exciting.
So yeah.
All right. Well, so one of the things when Matt first told me about N8N is we're looking to do so note taking is a thing that we both nerd out about quite a bit on a thing called
Yes.
Obsidian, which I'll go ahead and bring up right here, which is basically like a note taking app that basically manages a bunch of markdown files. And so Matt was showing me his workflow where he uses N8N in combination with Telegram, which is a messaging app, and that is what's going to let us basically update our note take basically a GitHub repo through a custom workflow. Which this is going to be cool. So I think that's what we'll be setting up today. Um, does that sound
It
good?
is indeed.
All
Yeah,
right.
that sounds good to me.
All
Yeah,
right, so if we want to get started, I guess we probably need a repo so that everyone can follow along. So how about let's get that set up first. So I'm going to call this one Let's Learn N8N. Whoop. All right. Let's learn N8N. And let's go and just initialize it with the README file. And boom. All right. I'm going to go ahead and clone that locally. We have that ready to go. And then where is my terminal? Do iTerm. It is open in a new. Oh, here it is. It's over here. Dragging it over. Great. So I'm gonna go into my projects. Oh, that was blinky. And then let's clone it. All right. So it looks like all we have here now is we have an empty repo with that's ready to go.
perfect.
All right.
Should we go and set that up in Obsidian? So we've got a vault, and we can get
Yes.
Obsidian set up, and then we can head into the cool stuff with Telegram after that. I think that
That
makes sense.
sounds great. So let's go ahead and let's create a new vault with Obsidian. And so, for those wondering what Obsidian is, we talked a little bit about it as a note-taking app, but really what we're going to do here, I'll just show you just the high level, is when we're creating a vault, really what we're saying is we have basically a folder full of markdown files. That's all it is. Vault's really a fancy way for name for that. And so here I'm going to go ahead and inside of my projects, let's learn n8n. I'll go ahead and open it, and let's go ahead and create that. And so what we have here now, looks like we have our let's learn. So let's go ahead and do our hello learn with Jason. All right. And so you can see this is a markdown editor. Hello, everyone. And we can jot down things that I would like to have for lunch, like ramen, bubble tea, and ice cream. And this lets you render it into basically HTML. So quick overview of what we have for our Obsidian setup. So it looks like we're good to go then on this mat.
Yep, that sounds good. So with whilst we're in Obsidian,
yep.
What we could probably do next is install the plugin for Git, so we can start pushing files up, and we can kind of get that side hooked up. Because once we've got that good, we can then start playing around with the files. Because we'll do that
great.
within GitHub. So if we head over to the community plugins within Obsidian, and
so
there's one
folders.
there.
So let's go ahead and turn off the safe mode.
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
So now let's go ahead and browse the community plugins. And so for those plugins on the Obsidian ecosystem, basically allow us to. Oh, it looks like we got a.
We're getting drowned here.
We're getting drowned in boops. Okay, so let me see. Oh gosh, I'm having. Let's see. I'm seeing it. Oh my gosh, yes, we're getting buried. You know, Jason, this is where I'm actually grateful for a time where he reduced the size of the boops, because it was at one point it was so easy to fill up the entire screen.
I mean, I think now it's just me.
It's just you. It's just, oh my gosh, I am buried. Oh my gosh, look at that. Of course, leave it to everyone to. Oh my gosh, there. All right. Well, in the meantime, while I'm buried, I think we'll take this time to install our Git integration.
That's the one. Yes.
All right. So let's go ahead and install that.
Once we've done that, I think one thing we'll do is I'll kind of cut to the chase a little bit and save us a little bit of pain. So if we go to the plugin settings, so once you've installed that, if you close out of that and enable it, perfect. Then we'll head down. You're ahead of time. It should appear down there. There we go. Perfect.
All right. Boom.
And there's a couple of settings that will change just to make our life a little bit easier.
Okay.
So I set my pull interval to be sort of every so often, because we want it to be, depends how often you're going to be updating. So I set mine, I think it's to every minute, but you probably don't need it that much.
That's fine.
But what this means is it'll just kind of, you can work asynchronously through your commands, through your automated workflows, and it'll just pull in as you come in. And then there's a pull updates on startup, that one down the bottom. I enable that one.
Pull updates before startup.
On startup, yeah, just underneath the branch. That's the one.
Great.
I disable notifications because that gets quite messy.
Sounds good.
When it's constantly like pulled.
Yep.
And I think that's it so far. I noticed the one at the top was set to 0 on the push.
Okay.
The Vault backup.
So
I think I've set that to 1. Yeah.
Okay.
And I think that's it. That's all we need really. So with that, we can now start playing around with stuff. So this should, it's started to appear down the bottom right-hand corner. It should show a little status of Git ready. And that means that this is kind of connecting. There we go. Everything is up to date. Perfect.
All right.
So as you make changes now, we'll start seeing these in GitHub. So one way that I do this as well, whilst I'm kind of playing around with these automated workflows, is if you open the command panel of Obsidian, Command P, and then type in git push, it will force a push. I mean, we kind of don't need that with the 1 minute, but it just means that you can control some of this stuff.
Yeah.
And now we're just going to wait for it down the bottom. It should say heading past the repo, and then it should say all good.
This is great. Committed 6 files.
There we go.
Boom.
Yeah. So the 6 files will be the .vault from the initial creation. So after this, it'll now just be 1 file, or should be. So if we go back to GitHub, we should be able to see those changes. And then that means that we can start playing around with stuff in there.
All right, here we go. Yep, I see a folder for Let's Learn N8n, and we see the .obsidian,
Ideal.
and we have our markdown here. Will this change appear? Boom, it's in.
There we go.
Awesome.
So that's the first. That's the first step. That's what we need. And now we could do with setting up Telegram on the other end of the spectrum.
Sounds good. Before we move on, just to have everyone just sort of catch up on those things. So just like to recap, basically what we've done is we've created like an automated sync between our text editor Obsidian that automatically pulls stuff down and then basically automatically pushes stuff up. And so we've automated this workflow. So you basically have a backup of your local markdown files. So
Yes.
very cool. Oh, I hear Corgi train. Hype train. This is great. I love it. Okay, so actually, Matt, let's talk a little bit about what. So with the markdown files being managed in Git, like why did Telegram come into play to begin with, right? Like why are we looking to
Yes.
upgrade this workflow?
So the reason why I use Telegram is, for me, it was the easiest way to get started with bots. Telegram has a really good kind of interface of creating bots, and you don't really need to do much kind of low level stuff. In fact, we probably don't really need to do any low level stuff with Telegram. n8n handles all of that side for us. So it's a really quick way of getting started with having bot commands and sending messages to and from yourself via the Telegram bot. The reason why I use this with GitHub is we can use n8n to interact with GitHub files directly. So Obsidian doesn't have an API, it's all locally on your machine. So the way that to get into Obsidian is through the backup. So it sounds kind of weird, but it works really well.
Got it.
So the Git backup for Obsidian typically I would imagine is used for just that purpose, just to back up. But we kind of hook into that process and we pull down changes. So we can manipulate our Obsidian from wherever through Telegram. And we can pretty much change the files however we want. So we'll kind of start off pretty basic, but through playing around with it, I've had some success with some pretty cool workflows, which get a little bit more intricate. But we'll start off basic for now.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I know for me, one of the reasons I am so interested in Matt's workflow on this is because capturing things on mobile when you're on the go is quite tricky to get that all synced up together. And having this ability to just send myself a message and have my notes automatically be updated. I'm so excited for this.
Yes, we've just got a message in the chat.
Yes.
So it will be n8n that interacts with Git. So Telegram is the initiator, let's say, the trigger, as n8n calls it. So Telegram triggers a workflow in n8n, which we'll kind of get to in a minute. That ultimately leads to n8n firing off GitHub APIs to manipulate files, which Obsidian then subsequently pulls down. So we don't really have to interact with any APIs directly at all. We use n8n for that.
Oh, that's so exciting. I don't have to read API docs. Yes.
Yes, exactly.
All right. So to get started, what should we do now?
Let's set up Telegram, because once we've
Okay.
got Telegram, we can jump into n8n, and that's the fun bit.
All right.
So if we open Telegram and go to him, yes,
All
the
right.
Botfather.
So what is Botfather for everyone?
Botfather is Telegram's way of creating bots. So this is all through him, and he talks you through the process. You don't even need me. So you had open him in Telegram.
Okay.
And he should tell you, if you start a new chat with him, start down the bottom.
Oh, start here. Okay.
That's the one. And then he gives you a list of all the commands you can give him.
Okay.
It's really, really nice. So if you click new bot or type new bot,
Okay. Let's go.
he will start you down the process.
So should we go ahead and create a new one then?
/new bot in there.
All right. Here
That's
we
the
go.
one.
What are we gonna call it?
So this is the name that it's displayed. I actually keep these the same as the follow-up question, which is the username, just because I find it easier. But you can call this however you want. So like on the botfather on the right, on
Mm-hmm.
that info pane, he's called botfather, but his username is just bot. It's similar to
Oh,
that. So this is
okay.
the kind of nice name, let's
Got
say.
it. And this is custom
Um,
to my account, right? This is not something that's shared
yes,
across everyone.
no. So only those with an access token, unless you
Mm,
invite someone into the bot.
okay.
So yeah, this will be just you.
So I guess let's just call it the n8n bot, right? Let's just call it this.
It could be, unless that's taken, but I don't think it will be.
Okay, here we go. Let's try that. Good. Okay, it's
Perfect.
been taken.
Okay. So now the username, it has to end in underscore bot, but you can choose it however you wish. Uh,
So
this will be what you kind of use to talk to with some commands.
got it. Okay, so I guess we'll do n8n bot, but just with this underscore, and let's
Yep.
keep it simple. Sorry, it's already taken. Okay. Let's learn n8n bot. This way, oh wait, this should be all underscore, right? Let's
Yeah.
learn n8n. This way we'll keep it consistent with the show. Okay, there we go. Excellent.
Ideal. So that access token that's in there, use this token to access the HTTP API.
Yep.
We'll need that.
All right. Sounds good. And don't worry, chat, we'll be deleting this after the show. So we're just playing around with this right now. Okay. So now that we have our API key, where are we going next?
Yep. Let's jump into n8n. We can leave this here for now, and we can
Okay.
jump straight into n8n, and we can start
Sounds
setting
good.
up the stuff in there.
All right. So n8n here, I've created a brand new account, so I skipped everyone from that process. So actually, I need a login one password. Give me one sec. Just in case. Let's not. Everything. Please
Some
bump
holding
bump
music.
side. Okay. Yeah, let's do that next. Thanks for the request. Okay, there we go. Sign in. Here we go. Benefits then.
Perfect.
All right, so let's bump this up a bit so people can see. This should be much better now on your screen. Great. Enhance. All right, it should be pretty big now.
Whoa. There we go.
All right. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for asking. All right, so we're here at a brand new n8n dashboard, and so just so everyone knows, I haven't touched this before. That we are brand new to this. So, where do we go from here, Matt?
I think it's share new workflow.
Okay, let's go share.
If you
New.
click on the button on the right.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, no, it's n8n.cloud on the top.
Oh, n8n.cloud.
Yes,
Okay.
because we want to head into their. I'll touch on sharing in a bit.
Okay, sounds
but
good.
workflows can be shared. So,
All right, let's do this then, real
Yeah.
quick.
so for those kind of watching, this is their self-hosted. Their paid-for hosted version. So you don't have to do anything. So you can either go down the
Okay.
route of doing it yourself
Let me
on
create
Pi
this real
or
quick
however.
off screen, because apparently I
And-
created an account on the wrong area. Okay, and there we go. This should do it now. All right. Save. So there's a question in the chat. Does this have a free tier?
It does not, as far as I'm aware.
There's a free
I don't
trial
think-
though, right? That
There's
you
a
can,
free
like-
trial.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a decent one too. I think it's like 30 days. And then
Oh.
I think that
I can use my existing one from the other one. That's great. Okay. I don't need to worry
I
about
could probably whiz through this bit. Oh, there we go.
try free for 30. Yep, there you go.
There's the pricing.
But n8n is open source, right, Matt? So people could theoretically self-host it.
Yeah.
Their own.
You can stick it on a Pi, or there's n8n has a really great like community, and in their forums there's plenty of tutorials of how to host it on various different platforms. I think it's mostly done through Docker. I think.
Okay.
I might be wrong on that, but yeah, I use their cloud service, and it's brilliant.
All right. I just made. So I had to. So for those wondering, I have to enter in my credit card information for the free trial. So we obviously don't want that saved on the stream, because that would be much more painful to change later on after the stream. But okay, now that I've signed up for the free trial, ba-boom. Oh, Oh, David is in the chat. Gonna make an open source state machine flavored version. Love it. Okay. Looks like we're here, Matt.
Perfect. Okay, let's start.
All right.
I think that might take us for a tutorial actually.
Should I just exit then?
We could probably just close that.
Yeah, let's just get out of this.
So then from there, you can open your instance. So this is currently in progress. This shouldn't take too long. What this is doing is spinning up your VM. So I can kind of talk us through what we'll do in here.
That would be great.
So once n8n set up your instance, we will go through and start adding in your credentials. Is what they call your credentials. So we'll need GitHub, which is through OAuth, your Telegram, which is through the access token, and I think that's all really. And then in between the two bits, we'll kind of fill in with however we want to go. So they've got tons of what they call nodes. And if one doesn't exist, here's my kind of call out to those with fancy workflows, you can create them. And like you can push it to the community. So other people can build their own nodes and have it so everyone else can use it. I don't know if there we go. I think
there we go.
Oh, hey,
it's online.
Look at that. Perfectly timed. And if we head into here, they'll give you like a default one, I think.
Oh, great. I have my little subdomain here. Very nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm just going to close out of this.
Ideal.
Let's do this.
There we go. Okay. So on the left-hand side, you've got a little sidebar. If you expand that, there's a section there of credentials.
All right, credentials.
So we want to head into credentials and we want to create some new stuff.
All right, great.
So we want to create a credential type and type in, let's start with Telegram because it's easy. We've got the access token.
Great. The name, anything special for the name?
Let me just check mine. I don't think so. No, I've just got mine as Telegram n8n. I think it's for your bot. So you could have multiple.
Let's do it.
It's what's referenced in the drop. They'll give you a drop down in the nodes as to which authentication you want to use. I guess you could use multiple. I guess your access token. That's the access token that Botfather gave you.
Right here, right? This whole thing.
That's the one.
All
yeah,
right,
the
so
whole
let's
thing.
Copy that over, and we'll switch that back, and let's drop it in. All right.
Harshil's just put, you can create credentials from the node itself. Never knew that.
What?
Harshil's from n8n. Inside info.
All right, good to know.
From here, you can, if you double check the Telegram and Telegram trigger and then sling them over, it'll just give you access.
All right.
There we go. And then hit create down the bottom right. Right, perfect. We can try and do the credentials from within the nodes, and that makes life a little bit easier.
Yeah. So how do we do that then?
Okay. Let's create our first initial node. So if you click the plus icon top right.
Plus icon top right.
And then there's a section called trigger. Yeah.
Okay.
Click that, and in there, if you type in the type filter at the top, type in Telegram. Perfect. And then just click it. It will stick it in, and then you can choose your Telegram API credentials, which is the one we just made here. Oh, I see. There's a create new section. There we go. So.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Yeah. So this bit here in updates, we want to choose message. So this is when we receive a message, trigger our workflow.
Okay.
If we have time, I can touch on other triggers, but for now we'll stick to message. So, so this is as basic as it gets.
Okay.
So we have here the initial trigger. Sorry, I was just checking my workflow to make sure there was no other settings. Yeah. So we can close this now, and that should be kind of set up for us to have an initial kind of play. So if you go to Telegram and open your bot, you should be able to kind of.
So I'm gonna bump this to the right so that people can see. So we're gonna start a new message. You said so.
Yep. So if you click you will find it at. There's a link at the top of where the access token was.
Oh, this one.
Yeah. If you click that, it should take. There's your bot. So this is your bot now.
All right.
So, okay. I think this will work. So if you kind of flip between the two, so if you head back
Yeah.
to n8n,
Yeah.
we'll do this a lot, by the way, so it might be good to kind of keep it side by side. There's a
All
lot
right,
of
then
kind of
I'm gonna make this 1/3, and I'll make this 2/3. I think that'll be better for people.
perfect.
Okay.
So if you click execute workflow now, what that button does down the bottom, and we'll use this. Uh, oh, we need to webhooks. Sorry, I can't see the message.
Yeah,
Webhooks.
I can't see. Let me see. Can I get rid of this somehow?
Oh, I
The
think
node
we
thing?
need to save the workflow first because at the moment we
Okay.
don't have. It's not kind of anywhere.
Got it.
So if you click on the
Nope,
cancel
that's
that.
not
I
it.
think if you click on the drop down with workflows, there should be a thing that says save as. Yeah.
Okay, great. So
Give that a
say
name.
let's learn n8n save.
There we go.
Okay,
So
great.
now we've got the webhook registered, so that should be good. Oh, Harshal's confirming this. Okay, so if we click execute workflow now,
Okay, clicking.
this should kind of give us a little spinner. Yes, now we go. Right, so that's now waiting for a trigger.
No.
And if you go to n8n bot and just typing anything,
Hello chat.
we should get a little boop. Yes. Okay, cool.
Oh my
Right.
gosh,
So if you now
okay.
click on Telegram trigger. So n8n makes stuff so easy to debug. It's almost criminal. So if you click on that, there we go. That's our output straight from Telegram. So this is the data that we can hook into. And we can go from there. So this is just the data from message. So
Okay.
different ones from the different kind of trigger, like the trigger types have different output, which is why it's easy just to stick with message for now.
Got it.
So from there, I don't know if you go back into the Telegram trigger and
Okay.
just look at the output again, we have a username there of Ben Codes then.
Yep.
The first thing we want to do is make sure that the message comes from you.
Mm.
So the reason why we do that is when we start kind of getting into Telegram, the thing I found was you want kind of feedback, as in, yes, we've saved this, yes, we've updated this, or we're doing something. And when you create a chat message in Telegram, it will trigger itself. So what you can do straight off the beginning is check the username. Does it come from me? Like, have I triggered this? Because we don't want it to run indefinitely. So the first thing we'll do is we'll create an if node. So if you close that
Okay.
and we go to the top right hand side, yep, and then type in if, and then it's split stream depending on define. Yeah, that's the one. So in there, if we close that a second, I don't know if it's automatically joined. It does. Yes, it has. Perfect. Okay, so that now knows that if you close it in between, there's like a little cross. If you hover in the middle,
Like this. Yep.
yeah.
So this
So
will
if you
let me delete it.
Yeah, and now click on the dot. You can like drag where you want it to connect to. So it's
cool.
super slick.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's
So
nice.
if you now if you click on if
Okay.
and you go in there,
Okay. That's the one.
this is when we kind of start seeing how nice n8n is, and this is kind of throughout the whole thing. So if you click add condition
Okay.
and you want to make that a string,
Okay.
and then you go value, and in value, if you click the cogs on the right hand side of that, add expression.
Okay.
So this section will kind of dip into this throughout the whole workflow, but this is the closest you'll get to actually doing code. So what you can do here is this can run your input through JavaScript if you want it to.
Okay.
What we'll do here, if you click current node,
Okay.
you'll see that there's one which says input data.
Okay.
Yeah. If you click on input data, you'll get JSON, and in JSON you'll get message, and in message you'll get author or from. Yeah. If you go to from, it will give you your username. Click that, and it will now tell you in the result what it would get when that's run, because you've already run it once.
Yep.
So if you close that now.
Okay.
And then in the operation there, in the value 2, type in your username.
Great.
So now that will match. So now you've got a true or positive value when it matches, and we'll head on. If it's false, it just doesn't do anything.
Okay.
So we already know. So now we can start building out that kind of middle bit between Telegram, and Git.
Oh my gosh.
Uh,
Okay.
so this is when the question is, what would you like to do?
I mean, I think let's. What is the simplest route for like showing the feedback loop? I guess like can.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
let's just have a file and let's start adding stuff in.
Okay.
Just whatever you put in.
Yep.
Like the command side of things, we can add this on quite easily in between. So
Yeah.
what would be the next best thing? The next best thing would probably be to set up GitHub in n8n, I would say. So if
Okay.
we add a new action
All right.
of GitHub, yep,
Okay.
and we want to
Create new.
create new, and then
Okay.
if you can
Let's
change,
learn n8n server.
I think if you close that a second, sorry, I
Yeah.
think if you change the authentication to OAuth,
Oh, much better.
that now will, yeah, you'll now
Okay,
go
create
through the
new.
GitHub OAuth, and then yeah,
Okay.
click on
So
the
let's learn n8n. Click on this to open it
uh-huh.
up. Excellent. Authorize.
Yeah.
I think we need the let's learn with Jason. Okay.
Jason, where you at?
Jason, gonna need you to approve something. Hopefully you see this. But okay, at least that's that, and so I'll at least authorize it from here.
Yeah.
It's cool. All right, Jason, I need you to approve the n8n request so that we can have it talk to that specific repo. All right. So in the meantime, okay. So now that we have that, let's assume if it's not connected, we'll refresh it in a little bit.
Yep. So if you scroll down, I think there's a bit down the bottom, is there? Save. Yes.
Okay. So don't even. Do we need to add any of these GitHub trigger?
No, because access we've already, because I think we set it up within the node. It's already just assumed that we'll want access for that.
Okay.
We don't. Well, you could have a GitHub trigger if
Mhm.
later on down the line you wanted that to do something, but for now we don't need that.
Awesome.
So the repository owner. Oh, actually, sorry, no, resource. We want that to be file.
What
So
is this?
in resource, just under authentication,
Resource. Okay. File.
we want that to be file, and then in
Okay.
operation, we want that to be read.
Read. Okay.
Yes, or get. Sorry.
Okay. There we go.
Yeah. So the reason why we want to do this is we want to get the content of the file so we can append to the bottom of it every time.
Okay.
So the way that GitHub works is their API is if you create a change in something, you just kind of provide it with everything that you want in that file. So if we just give it our string that we're kind of going to append to the file, it'll just override it with that single string every time. If we get the contents though, we can start sticking stuff on the bottom. So the best thing about this is that from this side, there's no merge conflict because it will get the fresh file every single time. From the other side though, that's where we need to be careful, but we'll get to that later. Because when we pull in, if we don't pull before we make a change, it'll try and push up a change when there's been one from when we've sent a command. That's the only kind of caveat to all this. So repository owner, this is where we want the learn with Jason, I think.
Yeah, let's double check that real quick. So it should be the GitHub.learn with Jason. Yep. So let's learn with Jason. Grab that here.
Perfect. And then you'll need the repository name on the end,
which we said was let's learn with n8n.
Perfect.
And then file path.
File. So we get to choose a file name. So this could be anything, but this needs to be where in our vault. So our vault is, I think, is it in Obsidian? I can't remember how it was in GitHub.
Yeah.
But we'll create a file in here. I don't know if you want to call it inbox or something.
Let's just call it simple. Let's call it inbox. Okay. So we have our inbox. So I'm going to go ahead and push this up.
Yep.
Okay. And then let's see.
That should be in GitHub.
So let's go ahead and check that now.
We'll get the path.
All right. And then so if I go ahead and refresh that now, we'll see that we have our repo. Let me bump this up a bit. And if we look in here, looks like it didn't push yet. Oh, it's pulling changes. Okay. Yeah, I think some people are commenting. Yes, my laptop is running a lot of different things right now. So it is a spinning up. Okay, push two files to remote. That should do
Ideal.
it. Maybe I need one of those new iMacs with the M1 chip, and then this won't be a problem. Okay, hey, huzzah! Look at that. We have our inbox.md right here.
That's the one. So we're going to need the file path to that. So we'll need the let's learn n8n / inbox.md.
Ah, okay, so this part right here, right?
That's it.
All right. So if I drop
So
this
is where we're yeah.
will this
That should be all good.
file name path required should be okay. There we go. Once I move off of it, it validated.
Ideal.
Okay.
Yes, and I think that is all. Let me just check my one. Yes, that's all we need from there. So if you close that, that node is set up.
Wow.
That now reads from GitHub in a binary data though. So if we try and manipulate any of that, it's not going to work. So if you click on the plus on the right hand side.
Okay, plus on the right hand side.
We'll get one called binary data, I think it's called. Move binary data.
Move binary data. Okay.
Yeah. So if we now drag that down on the screen and we hook up GitHub to that, that's going to pump all the binary from GitHub into the move binary data. And on the opposite end of that, we'll get JSON. So if you click on move binary data, it will tell you the JSON key which that's going to output at. So it's going to come out as data. So
right here, this is
at the bottom. Yeah, and you can change that if you want.
Data works for me. That sounds good.
Yeah, exactly. So if you now create a new node.
Yep.
And you of GitHub again.
Okay. All right. So then we'll use
same again. We need to change authentication to OAuth.
OAuth.
And you should just be able to select the one you've already done.
Great.
Perfect. Resource, we want file again.
Yes, we're gonna go to file. And then this time we want to edit.
Yep.
Right.
And then same thing. So we want the same repository.
Okay. Oh, whoops. So the project owner is learn with Jason.
Mm-hmm.
Let's learn n8n. And then the same file path as before.
Yeah.
Okay, then we have.
And then this is where it starts getting cool. So if we go back into the expression edit, so if you click on the cogs again on the right hand side.
For binary data or file?
No, for file content. Yeah.
Okay. Add expression.
And then in current node, so current node isn't going to have anything.
Yep.
Because we haven't ran this yet.
Okay.
So if we close this is my bad. I should have remembered this. If we close this, and then we hook this up to true. So if you close that one as well.
Do we need to put a commit message? Or are we okay?
You can put a commit message in, yeah.
I'll just do update.
Just to kind of.
Yeah, just to satisfy it.
Okay. And then close that.
Yep.
And then in the if, connect the true to get file.
Okay. So here to here.
So this is as basic as it's going to get. Yeah. So what this is going to do is this is going to, on a trigger, it's going to say, is this icons then? Yes. Get the contents of the file, convert it to JSON, from the binary to JSON, and then we're going to edit the file. But we don't really want to edit the file just yet. So if you hover over edit file on that node on the end, there's a pause button.
Oh, there's a pause.
Or you can do that. But there's a specific pause button that you can basically say, don't do this. So if you hover over that, click on that.
Okay, so it's disabled.
So that freezes that one, yeah. So that it won't actually run that action.
Okay.
So if you now click execute workflow at the bottom again, and then open Telegram.
Oh yes, right. Telegram. Okay, let's try again.
Yeah, and it'll go, and you'll see all the little like ones go all the way across. Cool. Okay. Unexpanded end of JSON input. That's not what we wanted. Why is this? Okay. Let's double click on that. Let's see what's happened.
Okay. Go ahead and double click that.
Binary data. Oh, we don't want settle data. We want source key data. So if we click off that, there we go. Ideal. So the reason why we did that is the read data from GitHub is sending out, if you close this and then
Yep.
go back into the read workflow, we can see the output of that. And there's a binary on the top right.
Binary here.
That's it. So that's outputting, and it says at the bottom, binary property data on the left-hand side.
Oh,
So that's saying that this will output the binary in the data key of the output.
got it.
So this should now, if you close this and then hit on the move binary, you could do that again. Just run it through Telegram again.
Okay.
There is a play button on an individual node that you can cause it to trigger just that one node.
Got it.
But I find it's there we go.
Look at that.
Okay, right. So now we've got all the way to edit file. So if we double click on that,
Okay.
we now will have the ability to select in file content in the expression edit.
Okay, so we'll go into the cogs here.
That's
we
it.
already,
Sorry, we've already got one. So if you double click on the input
double click.
on the left, on the input field of that,
Oh, got it. Like this.
there we go. I'll open it back up because we've already added an expression, so it kind of
Okay.
knows this is the intent. So if you click current node
Okay.
and then input data, JSON, and then we want data there, yeah, because there's no value. So data is what we read from it, and obviously nothing in the file.
Okay.
So at the moment, it's just completely empty, which is why this is empty, because there was nothing to read.
Got it.
So if we do that, and then what we can do from there is underneath the data, if you create a new line in the expression on the right,
Okay.
if you click on message and then your text. So now what this will do is every single message you send,
Okay.
it will add to the previous file, and it'll just keep going.
Oh.
So we take the existing file and we append the message you just sent it.
Oh, so really
Every
should I
time it works the workflow.
new
So
update like this. So this would theoretically work. That it would prepend.
So this would work, but every time it will say new update and then the text. It won't override it
Got it.
because
Because this is appending it to the bottom of the file.
exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
All
It's
right,
just
so I'll
sticking
take
it
this
to the
out
bottom.
for now. Okay. Cool.
So this is we're getting steps.
Yeah.
This is good.
This
So
is
we
exciting.
close this
Okay.
and then run it again.
All right,
We
but
should
this time
now
you were
we should
saying
now.
though that I could just run this node by itself again. So I could hit
Yes, you
play?
could. Yes, yeah. So if you hit play,
Okay.
that'll activate a node. But then on the top right, there's like a I don't know what they actually call
Execute
it.
node?
Execute node. There we go.
All right, I'm gonna
I
play
think
this.
this will work.
It said it did get execute successfully.
Yes.
So,
So if you go into there, you'll see a new commit of
oh, so we're
perfect.
checking Obsidian.
So we'll need to pull here.
Oh yeah. 'cause
So
it's
if you
not
do the
that-
command and then pull down,
looks like
yeah,
it's already pulling.
easy,
Oh my gosh.
easy.
So exciting.
So from here, it's an infinite world of possibilities. You just kind of get clever. So
Yeah.
how long do we have? We've got
we're still
another half
good.
an hour.
Yeah. How about what
Okay.
about saving links?
Oh, okay.
Linda, that
Yeah,
was great.
let's
Not
go down
bucket.
that. Okay.
I love it.
So the first thing that we want to do is I will prefix this with Telegram commands are a specific thing in terms of like you can have a command that would typically run something.
Okay.
With the command that we'll build now, we're kind of hijacking that process. So where we'll type in /URL,
Yep.
Telegram typically would do something just off that. So you
Okay.
type in /command and it will just go off and do something.
Okay.
What we'll do is /URL and we'll take what we put after that as the URL. So that's how we'll kind of know that we're submitting a URL.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So the first thing we want to do is let's stick in a switch statement. So if you click on the plus
Yep. Let's do this.
and we'll do a switch. So the reason why we're doing a switch is it means adding new commands is super easy. So at the moment they only support up to 4 outputs per switch, but you can stack switches. So you can have the 4th output fall back to another one. So you can have as many as you want. But at the moment Yeah, it only has 4 specific outputs. Yes, so if we close that and we disconnect the node from edit file, and if you disconnect the if to GitHub in the middle, and then if you like highlight, yes, native, kind of looks native, probably very difficult to implement. Yeah, so if you hook that from true into the switch, yeah, and then from the switch, you can hook 0 into get file. So then just so we've got that kind of bit set up. So now if we go into switch, and we go to rules, and we want data type string. Yeah, I want the value to be the if statement. So if we click on the, sorry, no, if you click on the edit expression, yeah. And then we want the current node and then input data. And we want that to be the message. So if we click on message and then message again, text, sorry. Yeah, and close that. And then in the add routing rule down the bottom, this is where we'll say, in the operation, we'll do start with, because it's the easiest one. So if you click on there and then starts with, type in whatever you want the command to be. So /URL is what I use. And we've already got the output set to 0. So if you were to output, let's say you had another command, you could add a routing rule, starts with /to do. And you could output that to node 1, and it would just wherever you route off those. So I actually can't hear you, I don't think. I don't know if that's just me. Is it me? It may be just me. Can chat hear everyone? Oh no, chat can't hear Ben either. It's now learn with Matt. Yeah. So whilst Ben's trying to get his mic working again, I'll look at chat and see if chat has any questions. Do you have any questions about where we're at now? I appreciate we've probably whizzed through this quite quickly. I could probably answer some questions about n8n and fall back to Hojo if there's anything there. In theory, you could, Linda Cat. The way that we're doing this would work with other messaging platforms, not just Telegram. I don't know the support in n8n though for other messaging programs. I'm not sure what support they have. But in theory, with this command that we're doing now with the URL anyway, we're just string matching. We're not actually kind of using any kind of... how you getting on, Ben? I don't think you can hear me now either. Oi! I can hear you. Okay, well, I can hear Ben. Jason says, got to change it in OBS.
Okay, test mic 1 2. I think I got it. Can
Boops.
people hear me? Boop,
Hear
boop,
Ben.
Boop. Please tell me.
Boops for Ben.
Yes. Okay. Thank goodness for having backup mics. So now I'm on the Shure MV7. So how am I coming in? I was on the. I was
You sound great, mate.
all right. Sorry about that, everyone. Glad I had a spare podcast mic just like sitting on the floor.
Yeah.
That was.
As you do.
All right. Excellent. Cool. Sorry about that. So, shall we continue on then? We have the URL. You were talking about the routing rule.
Yes. So if you wanted to add another routing rule, you could. Sorry, I just realized I've been calling it routing rule. How British of me. Yeah. So you could create as many of these as you wanted, and you can output them to one of those four. So one thing I will say is once you get to that point where you've reached 3 and you want a fourth one, you would typically fallback output, and you would choose the one that you're going to kind of like fall back to in the new switch.
Okay, so let's illustrate that then. So we have
so you've
URL
created 3 commands.
So 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Yeah. And then you have 4 outputs, but obviously once you've hit that 4, you're kind of at capacity of that switch node. So at the bottom of that node that you're on now, once you've gone the 3rd one, there's a fallback output, and you can select from there 3.
Okay.
So then what that will do is any input data that comes into the switch will now fall back to another switch, and you can have as many as them if you want.
So then from here, we would theoretically then add another switch rule.
Correct. Yes.
And then, theoretically, we would
hook that to 3.
Let me delete this. So 3 would fall into this new switch.
Correct.
And
yeah.
right now,
and you can have as many as you want.
Going in here.
Yep.
Great.
Yep. So 1 and 2 would be other commands, and you could do independent things there.
Okay, sounds good. So currently, if I understand everything correctly, 0 right now is actually it's going directly into URL. So
so it'll come in, and it's just like a normal programming switch statement. So the first thing it hits is this one. So we want to change the output of this to 0 though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Perfect. And then the other 2,
leave it alone.
We can leave it alone. Yeah.
Okay. So now 0, if we get a /URL, should now trigger this workflow.
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So if I understand correctly, I'm going to execute the workflow, and if I don't prefix anything, right, and I'm just like test message, this should just stop. Great.
Yep. It falls through the switch because it's a fallback. So it'll just keep going all the way through and doesn't do anything.
That worked. Okay, exactly as I expected.
So if you now do execute workflow.
Okay. Yep. Start the execute workflow again. And this time.
And then /URL.
Yep.
And then type in some stuff. Right, maybe put in a URL because then we can use that. We can use that data. So you want to prefix this with HTTPS or HTTP because that's quite a good hook to have.
All right. So I'm gonna actually just do obsidian.md, or is it? I think it's .md. Like this. I was right. Okay. So if I hit it, boom, we can see that now because of our switch statement with the prefix.
Yes.
Do you know if you can side scroll, by the way? Like in Photoshop, you would hold spacebar and then drag click?
I actually don't know the command for it, but I have a mouse with a horizontal scroll wheel. So I just use that.
Phil got me this, I got its vertical one, but there's no horizontal scroll wheel, so I'm sad.
I don't know how you would do.
I guess I can zoom out a little bit. Can I, maybe if I, ooh, that's not what I wanted. All right, this will have to do. Because you know what I mean? Like usually you can like drag the canvas.
Yeah.
But I can't seem to drag. Maybe someone in the chat knows how to do it.
Oh yes, if you command click.
Command click. Oh, that's what I wanted. Okay, perfect. There we go.
Ideal. Right. Okay.
OCD in me is like I want to perfectly center everything.
Okay. So what we want to do there is we now want to get everything after /URL. So we're going to do a bit of trust basis here, I think. I think that's the easiest way. So we could get down the whole regex route and try and like regex the URL out of it. But I think we can trust ourselves in this regard, and we can just say everything after /URL is going to be a URL.
Got it.
So if we disconnect the switch to get, and we shift them all over again, and we kind of push it all along.
Let's push it along. Great.
In there, we're going to do a set. So if you now add a set. So what this does, this is a very, very useful node in the sense of you can take an input and you can manipulate the object that it comes out with. So you can either create a new property within the object, or you can override an existing one with a transformed value.
Got it.
So what we'll do here is if you click add value,
Okay.
and we want string,
Yep.
we'll call the name, we can, what should we call it? We could either call it value, which is what mine is, but I use mine for different commands, or we can call it URL. Okay, so the value of that is what we want to get from the message. So if you add expression, and then current node, input data. Oh, we don't have input data yet because this is a new node. Yes, so it's if you close that, and then we take it from 0 in. Yeah, I think because with that 1, I think that means that it has data in it that we can use.
Okay, so I'm gonna come back into this.
Current node, input data.
There we go.
And then JSON message text.
Text.
Yes.
Okay.
So everything in between the squiggly brackets is JS. So we can now do, so on the end of the text object reference, we can now do a dot match.
Oh, match, okay.
Or however you would do it. You could, I'll leave that up to you. However you would take away the / URL space, that you do that. So I do it via regex, and I just take the first hit of everything after.
You know what? I am very bad at regex, so talk to me. How would you do it with regex? Because I was about to just do a substring. So
I will, so I will send you it. It's probably going to be the easiest. Let's send you that.
Okay, this is in the Zoom chat?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
And I'll explain why I've sent it you, because it's a bit crazy.
Oh my gosh, this is... All right, I'm copying and pasting this in. All right, look at this. Oh my gosh.
Coding on the fly. So.
Oh, not right.
So that should be.
Wait, why is it pasting in funny?
I don't know. I think it's just the syntax highlighter.
Oh, you're using the syntax file? Okay, there we go. All right, let me just paste this as plain text. Okay. Okay, it doesn't seem
it's not taking out the / URL. Why is that? Why are we not taking out the / URL?
Match. Maybe I need to manually type it?
Oh, I know why.
What?
Because I've got it. So my URL workflow, I share URLs an awful lot to myself.
Got it.
And it got to the point where I was not able to put the / URL as a prefix to my messages because I would share it from Twitter or from just to myself, and I'll just bung in the URL. Just take it. So what I was doing here, what this regex does is take everything on the first line. So often stuff that wasn't on the second line. So what we do want to do is we want a different regex that I will send you.
Okay, here we go.
So we'll have to play around with this one though, because this one will get the HTTPS bit. This just checks it. Yeah. So this just checks for.
Oh, that's not it.
HTTPS, and we want to then create a new kind of capture point after that. Yeah.
Okay. Did that do
so
anything?
That has not found anything because we haven't at the moment. We haven't with the caret at the beginning is matching to the start of the line. So we want to take that away.
Okay.
And then we want to open up the bracket on the HTTPS because so can you see we've got open bracket HTTPS question mark close bracket. That's our capture group. So we want to move that capture group to the end of the regex.
Okay.
So if you take that one away and then we stick it after the /, you can keep the question mark in because that's basically HTTP or HTTPS. That's it. And then you want it before the final / because that's the regex. Okay, so we've got the same thing here, but what we want to do is basically we could just do a what would we do? $, really bad. Chat's probably going to go wild, but just capture everything. Okay, so now in the array, in the 0 field, we now have our URL.
There we go.
Ta-da. Okay.
Boom.
So what we can do here is just stick this on the end of our document.
Okay.
So we've now got the text that's coming in. That's going to come out as value of the set.
Okay.
So if we close this,
Let's close it.
we'll go back to here. So it's going to output value. And then if we close that one,
Yep.
and we want to plug that into the get, and then in the edit file on the far end, we want to reference that specific value. So where we've got file contents.
File content. Opening this up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Current node, input data, sorry, JSON. Oh, we haven't run it. So it doesn't have it yet.
Oh, that makes sense. Okay.
Yes,
So
because this is currently using the data that's in move binary data.
So what if I just play this? Would that just work?
Try it. Give it a go.
Alright, let's go.
I don't know.
That executed. Then this.
There may not be
Then this.
anything there, but we'll see.
Then.
We don't want to run that one just yet.
Oh, not yet. Okay, that's
Yeah.
fine. Well, we can run it again.
Well, I mean, you can do. It's not gonna. So in there, let's go to file contents, and let's see if it's available. So at the moment we've got the raw text. So can you see at the end of the document we've put in /URL because we've just got the raw thing.
Yep.
So what we want is value at the bottom down there.
Oh, it did work. Oh, look how easy that was. Oh, that was so good.
Yeah, it's super easy.
Oh,
And then
wow.
take
So
out
just
that one.
Take all
Yeah.
this out. Oh, that didn't work the way I wanted to. Oh, it didn't delete the whole field automatically. My computer's chugging. Oh boy. Okay, there we go. Almost there.
So close.
So close. Except I think I just bought. You know, I'm just gonna delete the whole line. That was such a fail. Okay, there we go. Much better.
Right. Okay. Sorry, I just knocked the mic. Yeah.
Okay.
Ideal. So now technically you're done for the basics of it.
Yeah.
One thing I don't think we've got time for it just yet.
Yeah.
But I'll quickly illustrate you some of the nodes that we could stick in between.
Please,
so
let's
if you close these down,
Okay.
the reason why I mentioned earlier about the command not taking / URL, I mean I still have support for that in mind, but I mostly use just is this a URL?
Yep.
And the way that I do that is I have a second regex in the switch. So I check for / URL or I check for HTTP or S, and that's it. So does it contain this at the beginning?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Then it will run the same URL workflow and kind of like go through that URL process. One thing that we can do, and we don't really have time for today, which is a shame, is if you click on the plus at the top right,
Okay.
and you add a node called HTTP request.
Oh.
Yes. Very ooh. This will take a URL and make a HTTP request and return the data. From that point, you're probably thinking, oh no, like regex hell, I'm going to try and reg out some values.
Yeah.
But if you click on the plus and you type in HTML extract on the top right, if you add a new node, yeah, you can then plug in the so you can plug in the data. It's actually already hooked it up. It's like sent it right the way across your workflow.
Yeah, it totally did. All right, let me move this stuff over. So like here, this then plug into there.
Oh, you know what? We might have time.
I think we might be able to make this work. We should.
Okay,
let's
right.
done it.
Stick it on there. In URL, you want to fetch that value that we've just set in set.
All right, so
so you want to click on there.
Expression,
add expression. You got it.
Node input data, JSON
Yep.
value. Hey,
Yep.
look at that. Ah, okay.
Perfect. Okay.
Got it.
So that's all good. So you
Ignore
want to
SSL
output that as
issues.
JSON.
JSON, great.
Yeah. Let me just double check mine just to make sure that there's nothing in there. Oh, so I've got response format string.
Okay.
So the reason why we do that is that you could request from an API endpoint that returns JSON. What we're doing here is we're saying we just want raw text because the endpoint that we're hitting is going to be just a URL. It could be anything.
Got it.
And then we output as data, and that one's good. So if you click close on that,
Yep. So
that's going to come into HTML extract.
Okay. So we open this
HTML extract is going to take the JSON of data.
Yep.
Right. So now extraction values. This is the values that we're going to take. So
Okay.
what would be one that every site has? A title.
Yes.
So a sticker key of title.
Okay.
CSS selector, title.
Oh, right. Yup.
Yeah. And then I've got mine as return array. I don't know why I've got mine as return array. I don't think we need return array. I think
I
we can
don't
just
have
return
array as a select. Oh, got it. I
the
mean,
checkbox. Yeah.
distant.
So we
Okay.
want to return text. And then I've got mine set as an array, but I don't think we need one because
That's
that would
fine.
basically be if you want multiple
Attributes.
selectors. Yeah.
Oh,
So
okay.
if you want to return, so we can turn that off because we only want one.
Okay.
And this will now output title as the key. So we'll have value and we'll have title. Value being the URL and title being the name of the site. So if we close that,
Okay.
how long we got? 6 minutes. Perfect.
We got this.
In edit file now,
Okay. Edit file. We're command drag.
the
Okay.
far end.
Double click.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, we need to run the workflow
Oh, let's
because we
run
don't
it.
have the data
Okay.
yet. I
So
keep
I'm gonna
forgetting that.
execute it. All right. This time I'm not going to try to individually click because we are short on time. So we're going to grab this URL, same one, and let's pipe it through. Boom.
Woo.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So if we go to edit file
Yup.
and let's go file contents
Content.
in that
Okay.
expression.
Value is no longer valid. That's fine.
So the reason why this is the HTML extraction bit is kind of its own thing. It doesn't really take information in and then like pass it on. But there is a way that we can now get the URL still. So
Okay.
if you create an empty markdown URL. So if you
okay, so like
create an
this,
empty one,
like this.
yeah, perfect.
Right.
In the brackets,
Yep.
we want the title. So if you
So
go to input data, JSON,
title.
title, yeah. And then in the, and then if you go down to nodes at the bottom, and then we can do the set. So you can title your nodes whatever you want. So you would typically, if you have multiple commands, have the set titled to what you want, but set, and then you want value. And this will reach in and take the value out of that node. You have just created a markdown link with the title of the page. The preview down the bottom shows you
No.
exactly what you're going to get. Yeah. So what I also do for my inbox here as well is I also add in the date. So I have a reference.
Okay, so how do we do that? So yeah.
So if you
I'm like,
close,
added on. Oh wait, didn't let me type. Added on. Okay. All right. Now what?
so if you close that
Okay.
and then close that, and then I would probably stick it by the set somewhere. But if you click on add node
Okay. Add node.
and then type in date, and it will give you date and time. And then in value, yeah, you want format date. In value, add an expression. Create some empty squiggly brackets. Sorry, I'm trying to be quick here.
Yeah. Go. Oh,
And
got it.
the squiggly ones, and type in new date. It's just JS for
Oh, yep,
returning
yep.
returning the date. So
Not-
new date,
Oh my gosh, it's chugging. Okay, here we go. New date.
perfect. Close this,
Okay, close it.
and then choose the format which you want the date to be in. So
let's do.
I have
this
mine
one,
in
ISO.
the
Okay.
that's the one, and then set the property name to date.
Okay. Date.
Perfect. Close that.
Yup.
Disconnect from edit file,
Yup.
and then just stick it in your workflow. And we're going to do. I normally put it around the set, so you want to have HTTP repeats, HTTP request go into extract. We definitely need that, but
So maybe
you
like
can
this
basically
between-
put this anywhere within there. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just gonna take this.
Ooh, hang on a second. No, we may need that to go into set. If you put it after set, because set doesn't theoretically go into anything because we
Okay.
pull it
So like
out
this.
ourselves. Yeah,
And then like this. This is very ugly, but this will do. Okay.
it'll do. And then go to edit file. Believe me, tidying up these things is a whole nother realm in its own. And then if you go to file contents
Yup. Okay.
and then add it on, you want nodes,
nodes,
date and time.
date and time, parameters.
Oh, we haven't run it.
We haven't run it. Oh, we gotta run it. Okay, here we go.
We've got to run it.
Run the workflow. All right, here we go. I'm gonna switch it up this time. We're gonna go to NewYorkTimes.com. Here we go. Boom. Oh my gosh. Okay, go back in here. We're gonna go to the file content, and then he said, okay, so here's where we want to add it.
Add it on nodes.
Date
Date and time.
Output
data JSON. Date. Boom.
Gosh.
And then stick them in the square brackets, and you will get a reference in Obsidian.
Right, because you're doing the wiki link reference at this point.
Exactly. So and I should probably loop that into Obsidian has a really cool extension called Daily Note, which will create a daily note of this format, which is the reason why we went for this format in particular. Or I mean, you can choose it actually, can't you? But it defaults to this format.
So if I execute this node now, this means that inside of our inbox, if I refresh.
Yep. You'll have all of the stuff. So we're not creating new lines in between though.
So we would need to escape it manually with like forward.
No. So if you go to the edit file, I'm just going to check, make sure mine. Yeah. So in edit file, just create a. Oh, hang on. What are we doing here? Add it on. Why is this one not? So they should be. That should be adding it on like it does down the bottom there. I'm not sure why it's stuck them all on one line.
Maybe it's just a pass artifact. Let me try again.
Potentially.
This time we're gonna do Twitter.
Oh, we need to execute workflow.
Oh,
actually,
you're right. Shoot, you're totally right.
What I will explain is at the top. Do you notice there's a button that says active?
Yeah.
The way that we get this to work, because I just noticed we're on time, and this is like critical to workflows.
Yes.
Is when you want this to run in the background without you doing anything, if you expand the menu on the left,
okay,
you have to hit save.
Okay.
So every time you make a change, it pauses the workflow. So even if you went away, it won't run until you've hit save. But you need to now enable that with the active at the top.
Okay.
So active at the top. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. So whilst you're kind of playing around, hit execute workflow down the bottom.
Okay.
When you're good, hit save.
Okay.
So now you don't theoretically need to click execute workflow because it will be running in the background. However, if you want to visualize those steps like we have been doing, you need to have that running. Otherwise, it won't display them in the UI.
Yeah. Okay. So once again, let's just do the Twitter URL.
Yep. Is it good?
So, will it still show though since it's now active? Is it gonna be different?
Yeah, it should do.
Okay, let me just refresh this side real quick, see if anything changed.
I wonder if it's the if you click on raw in that file, sorry. I wonder if it's the way that
click on what?
GitHub renders markdown files.
Oh, got it.
Because I think Obsidian will render this. They should be on new lines. Yeah. So Obsidian will have this as it does, whereas GitHub Markdown renders are slightly different to Obsidian.
Interesting. Twitter did not have a title for us to select.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Okay. So I've had this before, and it's because there's a surprising number of sites that use JS to change the title, and the raw text doesn't have one. So if you use something like Netlify or something that has a title, it might show that kind of thing. But there's a reason why I don't know why this webhook call is just hanging around. If we give the n8n a refresh.
Yeah, let's give it a refresh.
I've just realized we're kind of over time here.
No, we're wrapping it. Yeah, we're getting to that point. We still have about 12 minutes left. So, you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm absolutely fine.
Cool.
I'll do this all night.
I would.
I love this.
Oh my gosh, I feel like we have to have you on for part 2 or something else because I feel like we just started unlocking the tip of the iceberg now with the things.
I'll disclose to you now because I was hoping that we might get close to it. So part of the workflow. If you click execute workflow, and we kind of run this in the background whilst the Yabra on. So one of the things that I've done is in Obsidian you can have a daily note, and in that daily note you've got you can have YAML front matter on the top, which is invisible in the kind of rendered side, but
Mm-hmm.
you can hook into various plugins. What I've managed to do is it's very simple because once you kind of hook into that regex side of things, is have a system where I can automate a cron job within n8n, which is another node,
Mm-hmm.
and you can choose the interval, and it sends me a Telegram, excuse me, keyboard command message. Sorry, and that gives me some predefined buttons, and when you press them, that will update the document at a specific point based on the ID that I give the keyboard button. So I give the keyboard button a specific ID that matches to the YAML front matter, and I can expand upon this an infinite amount because the actual workflow side of it just looks for using regex, the first section before an underscore, and the value is the second section after an underscore.
Mm-hmm.
And I can hook into the text-based document using those different values. So it's just so many things that you can do with this. But let's try and figure out why this isn't quickly, because I don't know why. Did you type in another URL?
Yeah,
there?
let's do it real quick. Yeah, let's do one more. This time instead of Twitter though, what's another one we can do? Let's just BBC.
Sorry, just to Linda Cat in chat. Yes, you use a multiple GitHub nodes. So the GitHub nodes, well, per workflow anyway, so, or per kind of stream. So this one where we have an individual command, it's kind of slightly more specific because you're editing and you're putting in a specific kind of markdown syntax. The one I just described there, where it's just a value hooked on the key, then that one, no, it just uses the same one for as many keys because it's just a generic pull text. There's no formatting involved.
I don't know the URL for BBC.
I don't actually know it either.
BBC.com?
BBC.com.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, let's see what happens.
So is this not running? Are we hitting issues where...
All right, so here it's waiting for the webhook call. So I'm going to hit it. Let's see what happens. Oh, yeah, there we go.
Yay! Perfect. Ideal.
Okay, wonderful.
Okay, so if we now go to edit file. Oh yeah, you could refresh this. Yeah.
Oh wait, this is a raw git commit. So
Oh yeah, we don't want that. We should see.
here we go. BBC homepage. Boom.
And it's got a title, and it's got the link. And if you go to Obsidian and pull that down, you will now have the reference on the date.
Oh, this is gonna unlock so much. But you're saying something about the edit file though?
I was just going to view the output in
Okay.
the, in the file contents to make sure that n8n was putting in the right place. But
Yeah.
we cut to the chase.
Great.
So one thing to mention is if you edit that inbox file. So I have all my stuff from Telegram come into an inbox file for the sole reason of as I'm adding stuff, if I have it come into, say, a daily note or something which I'm editing frequently,
Yeah.
then merge conflicts just happen all the time because I will forget to push. My computer will sleep or something, and Obsidian won't do the Git thing, and then I'll go away and I'll send myself a link, and then I'll come back, and then it'll be like, oh, you've got a merge conflict because I've updated it in two different places. So if you change this file, just Command P push, and then you don't have to worry about it. Just instead of relying on the one from Obsidian, which helps. But
Yeah.
I just have it to kind of push it up before you go away, so you know that GitHub has the latest version.
Yeah. Fantastic.
But yeah, it is easy enough to resolve though. So don't worry. The Git Obsidian plugin does actually have quite good support for merge conflicts. So you just need to go in, change the file, and then click push, and it'll figure out everything else. It's quite clever. It does it all for you, but it's still annoying.
All right.
But yeah,
Oh, this is fantastic.
that's your
I'm glad
first
we
workflow.
get so far in this. Actually, Matt, I remember you said we could share this workflow, right? Isn't there an easy way to export this?
Yes, two ways. Okay, I have to tell you this. So
Yes, let's do it.
if you select the entire workflow, or just a snippet of it, doesn't really matter.
Okay, I'm just selecting it.
Right, this blew my mind. Command C, Command V.
What?
Yep.
No.
Yes. So the way that n8n works is this is all just JSON. So this is it's so good, and this is actually means that you can speed up n8n workflow creation like super fast. Because if you have like a certain thing that you want to kind of repeat over and over again, just
Yeah.
Command C, Command V, um, or optimize it so you use the same bit. But yeah, so this is like super useful. But if you go on workflows on the left hand side, there's an
Okay.
export feature.
Uh,
Ooh, download. Sorry, I'm using the wrong
no,
terminology.
it's all good.
Uh, and then that's
Look
just the
at this.
JSON. Yeah.
Okay. So let's just open this up real quick in VS Code, assuming my file doesn't crash on me. All right, here we go. So many things chugging along.
Come on, computer.
I know. I gave you 8 cores and 64 megabytes of RAM. Please work. Uh, it's like too many electrons. Oh, look at that. There you go.
Yep.
Yep.
So you can either share that file, or there is a route which I've not actually done before, which is through the one we very briefly touched on at the start of the stream with the share functionality within n8n itself,
Got it.
where you take this JSON and you put it into that interface and you can share a link to it, and people, I think they can just click new workflow. I don't actually know how that works, but I
Got
think
it.
there's a whole thing around it, so you can just like stick it in your cloud or wherever.
Awesome.
But yeah, so if anyone creates really cool workflows, please put them up somewhere and tag me and Ben, because I would love to steal them
Yeah. Oh,
and use them.
gosh. Yeah, I can't wait to play with this. But okay, so we are at time. So again, thanks so much to Matt for coming on. I mean, so as we covered in today's episode, we can see that like and we talked a lot about Obsidian and like GitHub workflows, but really you can
Yes.
see there's just so many integration points here. And so if you think of it like a Zapier or a, if this then
Yes.
that, like you basically can, oh my gosh, like there's so much in here. I'm gonna have to dive into all this.
Yeah, there's
Custom
an
workflows
absolute ton of different things.
this is amazing.
And if you click on trigger, that kind of filters it down to the stuff that you can start the workflow with.
Mm,
But the way that I kind of the reason why I got so excited with this whole thing at the beginning is you can have a trigger. So one thing that I've done is I've used Telegram as like a middleman of like commands. So I actually update my daily note in Obsidian with my sleep time from my Apple Watch. So my Apple Watch goes to my iPhone. I have a shortcut which uses Apple Shortcuts, which pulls my sleep and figures out how much sleep I had in a night. It creates a command for me. I then share that to Telegram, which just does it. Telegram sends it to n8n, or n8n picks that up, sticks it in the right place in my daily note. And I literally, all I do is press one button on my phone, and it's just like, it's 2 workflow automations all together. So
oh my
the
gosh.
possibilities with this sort of thing is like, even though you could have one trigger, like I
Yeah.
do with Telegram, you can hook it up to so many different things.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well,
it's ridiculous.
this is amazing. Well, all right. Well, in that case, I think everyone, we are at time for today. So before we wrap up, so let me switch it over. Learn Jason. Whoop, that's the wrong page. That's my old episode. All right. Okay, so again, for those, if you're new to the show, you can find the entire schedule here with Learn with Jason. And we have the schedule coming up. Again, a big thanks to Diane from White Coat Captioning, and which is made possible by our sponsors Netlify, Fauna, Auth0, and Hasura. And so, as far as we talked a lot about Obsidian today, which again, that is a whole separate topic. Which is why later on this week, I'll actually bring on Hung Soo, who'll be talking about building a second brain with Obsidian. And so this is where we're going to get to dive into sort of the ins and outs of Obsidian and why a lot of the developer community is really excited about the tooling. And obviously, Matt and I nerd out a lot about this a lot. So would love to have you all there if you're curious about learning more about Obsidian.
That was
Cool.
great. I love that. I'd love a part 2.
Yes, I know. We'll have to. You know what? I think we'll have to have Jason bring you on for that one.
Yes,
um,
we could all be there. We could make
yes,
it. We
it'll
could.
be
The three of us.
so much fun. Um, but Matt, if people want to find you on the Internet of Things, where can they find you?
Yes, I've just stuck a link in the stream. It's Matt
Perfect.
underscore Hojo.
Perfect. So I'm gonna drop. Here is the upcoming episode. Awesome. Matt just dropped it. Yeah, and I think with that, let me see. I think I got everything on my checklist. Yeah, again, thanks everyone for coming and hanging out today. Matt, this has been an absolute blast. I will be hitting you up with a lot more n8n questions going forward.
Do it.
So this should be fun. Yeah, with that chat, we are going to raid. Yes, that is the final. I am still getting used to this Twitch thing. Okay, so let's go ahead. We're going to go ahead and look to see who is online right now. Let's see. Actually, this will be interesting.
Do we have like a raid message? Is that a thing still?
I don't know, actually. Let's see. I think Jason is still in the chat. Okay, so it looks like bald bearded builder is here. So, all right, so how do we do this? I just realized we're testing out sort of the streaming things, but I wonder if bald bearded builder, I don't know if this is gonna work. He's singing right now. Okay, I don't have permission to save that. Okay, Jason, if you're still on, it looks like rating may be a little bit tricky because looks like I'm streaming to your key. That's okay. Let me try that. It said I didn't have permissions. All right, here we go. Let's try this one. And no, do not have permission to perform that action. Jason, I think you're gonna have to be the one to kick off this raid. Because I don't.
Oh, we done it.
Oh, did he kick it off?
Jason's done it.
Epic. All right. Well, again, thanks so much everyone for joining. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I hope to see you on Thursday. So, talk to you then.